You ready to learn to make an omelet? First video, so give me a little bit of a break. You're gonna make sure you have all your materials, okay? You're gonna start with 2 eggs, and you're gonna take those eggs and make sure you kind of crack them away from the bowl so that you don't get any shells in your bowl. So egg 1, egg 2, simple enough, okay? Then you're gonna take your measuring spoons and make sure that you have the 1 tablespoon. There's a bigger one, that's 1.5 tablespoons. Do not use this one. Your omelet will be too liquidy, okay? You don't want that much liquid. So we're gonna go for 2 tablespoons. 1 in. Vitamin D milk or whole milk is gonna make your omelet with some more fluff and a little more thickness, okay? Once you have your 2 tablespoons, you're gonna go with a pinch of salt and a pinch of pepper. And obviously you can just use a dash of salt, a dash of pepper. Then you're gonna take your whisk, make sure you use a whisk. You could also use a fork, and you're going to stir vigorously until you see that egg and the milk are completely combined together and mixed. You should see a little bubbles, okay? Almost like you're just gonna make a scrambled egg, okay? So this part's pretty ready. We're gonna heat up our skillet, and we're gonna put that on to medium heat, which on this skillet is between 3 and 5. So we're gonna kind of start at 4 there. We're gonna take our butter. You only need about a 1/2 tablespoon of butter. Let that melt in the bottom of our pan. And once that starts to melt in the bottom of our pan, then we will be ready to actually start our omelet. Can you hit pause? All right, now our butter is melted, 1/2 tablespoon. We're gonna take our omelet concoction and just pour it into the pan. And we're really, now it's a waiting game. Omelets kind of take a second, so you're gonna let this egg form into what I call like an egg pancake. So you kind of want to roll it around your pan, and now we're just gonna let it sit, and it's gonna start to form, and you're gonna start to see white, and the bubbles will start to disappear. So really you're just wanting that oxygen to evaporate out of your egg. So 2 or 3 minutes is how long you're gonna have to sit here and kind of be patient with your little egg pancake, which will turn into an omelet. You can kind of see that the liquid is starting to go away. You can kind of turn your pan a little bit. You want most of that to just be a flat, you're almost making like a crepe. Okay, so it's gonna look like a flat pancake. If you get bored and you wanna do something, you can take your spatula and start to kind of bring in your edges. Now this one's a little too liquid right now. There's not really enough to kind of get that started, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to kind of start pulling that in a little bit. You want to kind of keep it in this circular motion. The longer I let it sit, we can kind of see now the liquid's starting to evaporate. We're starting to get the bottom piece of our omelet, okay? As it starts to form, that's when we're gonna take our milk, our cheese, our ham, or whatever other toppings you have, and you're gonna choose which side of the omelet you want to stuff, and then the other side you're just going to fold, okay? So as this starts to come together, you can kind of see it's starting to heat up. It's getting a little closer. If you go too soon, you will end up with scrambled egg concoctions with whatever toppings you have. And sometimes that'll happen, and that's okay, because we all make mistakes. Okay. See how we can't move anymore? There's no more liquid. We're about to the point where we're ready to start adding our toppings. So I'm gonna start with my cheese. I usually take my cheese and sprinkle. Cheese, you can go 1/2, depending on, you know, if you're watching your caloric intake, you may only want to do a measurement of cheese, which is usually about a tablespoon or 2. But you can also go over your entire omelet, okay? As that cheese starts to melt, you can take whatever protein or vegetables you have. I'm just gonna add a little bit of ham, and I'm gonna go just on the left side here. So far, so good. Now this is the tricky part. This is where if you have overcooked it, it will kind of start to stick to the bottom. Kind of like this one has a tiny bit here. If you have that problem, you just kind of want to use your spatula, kind of get underneath, kind of bring your egg together. And now we're going to kind of get ready to do what I call, we're going to fold. Okay, so we're going to get underneath our egg, and we are going to make sure it's not sticking, and we're going to fold. And there's our first fold. If you make it that far, you have 90% accomplished your omelet. Now, what I'm going to do is just let this cook a little longer. Someone's trying to get in because they can smell the food. And I'm actually going to flip it one more time. Okay, you don't have to flip it one more time. I like to flip mine just to ensure that the egg is all done, the cheese, the ham, everything's kind of melted together. It just makes your omelet taste that much better. So I'm going to go underneath in the middle, because this is where it could also fall apart if I'm not careful. And mine is a little flaky today, so it kind of looks like it might. But there we go. And a flip. And lovely children, that's how you make a very simple omelet. You're helping me.